everybody. How are you? Good to have you here. Woohoo! Yes, you saw it. One more before I go. Yes, and tiny toys are cute. Oh man, you know what? I was looking to see if Brian had one on today, and then I got distracted doing something else and I forgot to go back there. Oh, that's okay. I was finishing up some other things like that. There is Linda, yay, and Larry, the sheriff in town, hanging on the property while everyone else is at the beach. Oh my goodness. Yep, it's September in my lawn chair. I just cleaned out my email. Nope, yep, I did. I cleaned out my email and there's no art. That's okay, because we're going to try drawing some tonight after, well, maybe between stories, if I do both stories. If I do two. It just depends on how tongue-tied I am after one. Let's see. Okay. It's September. It's my lawn chair. The send-off is what I typed, I'm sure, but your tube knows better. Just strumming the 6th string, waiting for these days off to begin. Oh yeah, I bet that property is so. I'm gonna have to get down there one of these days. There's Gail. There she is. And yep, these is so devoid of much except the northern part, the state I love, Virginia. Oh, first time I saw fireflies, I was in New Jersey. So cool. Hi, Christine. Thank you. I saw you earlier on Venom Fluid Art, I think it was, and then on. Anyway, that was way earlier today before I got pulled away into doing something else. And there is Julia. Yes. You know, there's places over there that are in the East Coast that are really beautiful, Virginia, West Virginia, but the humidity and the bugs, can't quite deal. Yeah. Northwest girl through and through. Yeah. Even when it gets, and I grew up in Eastern Washington, which is basically a desert compared to Western Washington, where I am here, where I live 2 hours from a rainforest. So, very different. Yeah, Washington is very diverse. We have, in our state, on the coast, we actually have, Washington actually has 2 rainforests. We have in Olympic National Parks, there's a general rainforest, they call it, but there's several little rainforests within Olympic National Park. And then we have another part of a rainforest near Mount Rainier. Yeah. And then you cross over the Cascades and you are in a desert. Yep, a desert. If there wasn't irrigation, there wouldn't be the orchards. So, a set of tiny toys. Oh, I'm going to have to go back and see what Brian did with those tiny toys. Those look like fun. I didn't get a chance to see it, but I heard him talking about it and was like, oh. There, Gail's. Everybody's checking in. Christine and Gail and Larry and Julia. And did I see Tamara here? Tamara's fishing. She didn't know she was going to get back in time from fishing. Those lousy roaches, and they call date beetles, and you can put a saddle on them and they fly. It's not difficult to be hanging in 95-degree weather while you in plain view of a glacier. Exactly, Larry. Exactly. You can sit there in 95-degree weather and look up at snow-pack mountains in the glacier, and you just going like, what? Exactly. I saved a Facebook video a while ago with an elephant painting. Have you seen it? It's an old video. I have not. My Facebook is Images by Gretchen, my business page, and probably that would be where I check things more often. My regular Facebook page is Gretchen and Bob Shepherd. We have it together, but neither of us look at that very often. Bob especially doesn't. So yeah, if you find it, Christine, tag me, tag at Images by Gretchen, and it'll show up and I can find it. So, are you guys ready? Because we have a friend visiting today, and let's see if I can show him here. There he is. So some of you may recognize this SkippyJon Jones. Yep, this is a little SkippyJon. We're going to draw him later. This is kind of a drawing I got from somebody. I saw somebody do. It's kind of what he looks like, but we're going to read one of Skippy's stories today because he goes on a trip too. And I thought it was pretty appropriate. And so for those of you who weren't around for the first iteration of SkippyJon Jones, he is a little Siamese cat that tends to think he's a Chihuahua. And he goes off into his closet for adventures. When his mom tells him not to go into his closet, he goes in there anyway. He kind of does things that mom tells him not to do a lot. And he has 3 little sisters, Jujubee, Jezebel, and Jilly Boo. And they're little sisters. And SkippyJon has some Puchito friends. They're little beanbag doggies, the Chimichangos. And they come back to this story. So this story, though, is SkippyJon Jones Lost in Spice. And remember seeing the snow on the mountains. Oh, yeah. Okay, before we go on to this, since we're talking weather and stuff, I was listening to the Park Junkie yesterday on YouTube. I follow him. He's been in Yellowstone, but he was down someplace else. So on August 5th, in 3 hours, okay, so in Death Valley usually gets 2 inches of rain a year. On August 5th, in 3 hours, they had 1.7 inches. And that's what flooded out a whole lot of the roads, and they had all kinds of things, and all sorts of craziness happened. So, and that broke, the previous record had been 1.47 inches. So they had 1.7. Then, in the Mojave, which August is usually their rainiest month, and they usually get 2 inches in the Mojave Desert in the month of August total, they got 8 inches. And that's more than they usually get in a whole year, often. They got 8 inches in that month. Talk about crazy. Yeah. Climate is a-changin'. But since we were talking about desert and mountains and places like that, I thought I would throw that in. Was it? Big Sur is along the coast, Julia, is along the coast of California. It's an area right along the coast. It's pretty cool. Yes. San Jacinto Mountain Peak. What are the temps supposed to be where I am going? It is supposed to range between like 55 at night and 87 during the day. So it will be beautiful, beautiful. Petticoat Junction tubs. Yeah, but can you imagine they had 8 inches in the month of August? Oh, Lord. So the temperatures are going to be absolutely spectacular. Chilly in the morning when we go out, but then it'll warm right up. And so it's, and then it gets cold again at night, but it's still really pretty beautiful. All right, here we're going. So SkippyJon Jones. Lost in Spice. This is his little, he's going on a trip, so I thought it was appropriate. Again, the pictures are done in acrylics and pen and ink on Aquarelle Arches watercolor paper. Oh, and he has all kinds of little things. My model of Mars. He has a Martian he's drawn and a baby Martian that looks, kind of has some Skippy look to it. SkippyJon Jones was nuts about Mars because it was the red planet. I love red, that's what I said, and I musty put some rusty on my big boy bed. So off he went to the kitchen where Mama and the girls were starting supper. "We're making tuna poodle casserole," crooned his sister Jillyboo Jones. "Tuna noodle casserole," corrected Mama. "A poodle is a dog and we don't eat dogs." "SkippyJon thinks he's a dog," said Jezebel. "Yeah," agreed Jujubee. "He thinks he's a chihuahua." "Because his ears are too big for his head," added Jezebel. "Now that's enough," scolded Mama. "Pinkie Pie's ears are just fine." But Pinkie Pie was oblivious to the chatter. "May I please borrow your bottles of red spice, Mama?" he asked politely. "Well, yes, you may," replied Mama, pleased with her boy's manners. "But you better not be thinking about doing any sprinkling." "Nuh-uh," said SkippyJon, blinking. "Or tasting, or pasting, or wasting, if you know what's good for you," she added. Well, SkippyJon Jones always knew what was good for him. And that was bouncing and pouncing and rocketing in the rusty red dust. "Oh, I'm SkippyJon Jones and I'm in a big race to be the first dog to bounce into space." Then a bit of spice tickled his nose and ah-ka-chewy! The kitty boy sneezed. "Holy hot tamales!" exclaimed SkippyJon as he shot past his reflection. "What's up with the doggy in the mirror?" And then, using his very best Spanish accent, he said, "You are not a Siamese cat, dude. You are a wicked red chihuahua." And quicker than you can say jumpin' jacks on Jupiter, the kitty boy found his mask and cape, a mirror, a marble, and his sock monkey. He stuffed these and a few other things into his spacesuit while he sang in a muy, muy soft voice, "Oh, my name is Skippito Frisquito, and I think there are Martian perritos. Some say the green creatures share all of my features. I hope it's not just babalitos." And back in the kitchen, the girls were being a big help to Mama Junebug Jones. "I love noodles," declared Jillyboo. "Noodles are silly," said Jezebel. "That's because they're nude," said Jujubee. "They're not nude," said Jillyboo, giggling. "They're naked." And she tossed one up to the ceiling where it stuck. But SkippyJon Jones wasn't stuck at all. He was suited up and ready for liftoff. The astronautito took one small step into his closet for chihuahuas and one giant leap into the universe for Los Chimichangas. He was well into his orbit when a comet covered in crazies cruised by. "Who goes there?" hollered Skippito. "Martian," came the answer. "Martian who?" "Martian to your closet and get some frijoles, dude," said the voice. "Poquito Tito!" exclaimed Skippito. "Is that you, amigo?" "Sí, it is all of us, Los Chimichangos," said Poquito Tito, the smallest of the small ones. "We are going to build a chili polvo pipeline from Mars to Earth, Popito. Not the chili powder pipeline, declared Skippito. Exactamente, howled the doggies. ¿Por qué? asked Skippito. Because, amigo, began Don Diego, the biggest of the small ones, the chili powder on Mars is muy caliente and it will keep us very warm in el invierno. Then off they zoomed. The Cuckoo Comet and the Kitty Boy made it to Mars with a soft landing. Oh, sighed Don Diego, that felt marvelous. Then he turned to glance at Skippito. No offense, Poco Coco, but why the suit de la nieve? asked Don Diego. It is not a snowsuit, declared Skippito. It is a spacesuit. Dude, you don't need a spacesuit up here, said Poquito Tito. You need a spacesuit. Mars is covered in the chili powder, Chico. And this made the perros go loco in the rojo singing, Chili, chiru, churrito. It's a wag of the tail for Skippito. There's nothing as nice as a roll in hot spice in the light of the Martian mutitos. But a roll in the rojo should have been a no-no, because quicker than you can say monkeys making meatballs, Skippito rolled and rolled and rolled in the opposite direction from his pipeline puchitos. Phew, said Skippito, panting. You boys are right. This spacito is hot. The astronautito was so calor under the collar that he just had to take off his spacesuit. Muchachos, he called out. There was no answer. Oh, Skippito said to himself. I'm lost in space. But the astronautito did not panic. He grabbed his binoculars and climbed up onto a roca. And that's when he saw it. Holy green gorillas, gulped Skippito. It's a Martianito. The Pachito pounced just a whisker away from the unearthly creature. Dude, your ears are too big for your head. Your ears aren't too big for your head. Your head is too big for your body. Your head is too big for your body. You are not a Martian. You are not a Martian. No, I know I'm not a Martian, dude, said Skippito. I'm a Chihuahua, just like you. And to prove his point, Skippito ran back to his spacesuit and pulled out the little rojo mirror he had packed. Look, said Skippito, holding it up so both their faces showed. We are twins. The Martian was so mesmerized that he could not take his uno ojo off himself. Skippito was so excited that he could not stop hopping and flapping his arms. Then all of a sudden he remembered that he was lost. Hey, come on, uno ojo, called the kitty boy. We got to go find mis amigos. But uno ojo said nada. He simply sat and stared at his image in the mirror. Okie dokie-ito, said Skippito. I'll go, but you have to keep your eye on my stuff, especially my sock monkey. Then he took off faster than a tiddlywink in a tornado. He didn't have to go far. In less time than it takes to tickle a termite, Skippito found his cucuritos cooped up inside a crater. Dudes! Shouted Skippito. Dude, whispered Don Diego, you are just in tiempo. In time for what? Skippito asked. Hombres de la Marte, said Poquito Tito with a shiverito. No, not the men from Mars, declared Skippito. The mere mention of Martians made the muchachos go mad. Knock, knock, who goes there? Verde Martians everywhere, slurping sloppy ice cream cones, speeding in the spacey zones, mossy Martians on the move. What do you think they have to prove? We did not come here for a fight. We want to build. We will not bite. Then Skippito felt the fur stand up on the back of his neck. Because the crater was about to have 5 crazy creatures for company. Holy hoopleheads, hollered Skippito. Here they come. And before Skippito could think what to do, the Verde visitors piled out of their space buggy bearing all of Skippito's stuff. 2 were green and mossy, while the 3rd was green and bossy. The 4th was green and funky, and the 5th was green and monkey! Here we go. I think that's my sock monkey! Dude, declared Skippito's one-eyed Martian twin, emerging from the green group before him. Without saying another palabra, Skippito picked up his monkey's paw and pulled. First, Skippito yanked it this way. Then Uno Ojo yanked it that way. It's a tug-of-war, monquito, cheered the chimichangos. On the count of 3, the papitos planned to pull también, but the doggy shouted, Uno! And the Martians hollered, Ojo! And uh-oh! Uno Ojo let a go-go, sending the kitty boy flying. Ah. Skippito and his sock monkey hurtled headfirst back to earth and out through his closet door. Kaboom! He hollered, breaking the sound barrier and maybe his head. SkippyJon Jones, exclaimed Mama, rushing into his room. What on earth are you doing? And the kitty boy looked up and shook his head off on a head in a cloud of red spice. I didn't do anything on Earth, Mama, replied SkippyJon. I did everything on Mars. Oh, that's terrific, Major Tom, said Mama. Then she straightened the kitty boy's ears. You must be starving. Later that night, the kitty boy looked up at the starry sky. Mars, he muttered, beginning to bounce. Oh, I'm SkippyJon Jones and I like my red jammies because they're made from wool of green Martian lammies. Stop bouncing, Pinkie Pie, scolded Mama. I'm not pink, I'm red, said Skippy. It's over, Red Rover, said Mama. Just go to sleep. And that's exactly what he did. And that's the end of SkippyJon Jones, Lost in Spice. Oh, there we are. I know. Rolling those R's, you like rojo, it's red. Oh, yes. So it's usually when Skippy does one word in Spanish, he repeats it in another way. But yeah, those are the extent of some of my Spanish things, unfortunately. I've been reading SkippyJon for a long time. In fact, I had the first book memorized to the point where I could still do muchos, gracias, chimichimichango, bye babalito, boogie woogie tango, muchos, puchos, licky sticky mango, gozo, bozo, chimichimichango, one more time. Muchos, gracias, chimichimichango, bye babalito, boogie woogie tango, muchos, puchos, licky sticky mango, gozo, bozo, chimichimichango. That might be from the second book. I'm not sure. But I had all these sections and the kids always learned it so much, so that the kindergartners learned SkippyJon Jones and I bounce on my bed, and once or 6 times I land on my head. And the first graders would learn, oh, my name is Skippito Frisquito, and if you're not a single bandito, my manners are mellow, I'm sweet like jello, I get the chocolate sentito. And they had different parts that they would help me read the books with. It was a lot of fun, a whole lot of fun. And SkippyJon, when the book came out and then they came out with a stuffed animal, it was very, 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 it was very, very popular to have that stuffed animal. Yay, thank you. Okay, so get out a piece of paper because we're going to draw this and then I'll read Cirque du Olay, which I've only read like once. And we'll try this. Where am I? There, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to teach you guys how to draw SkippyJon, kind of like this. It's kind of the SkippyJon from the first book. It's not too hard. It's pretty easy. We'll see how we do. So this is my, tore out a piece. We're gonna go from there to there. Yeah. So what I start with kind of is his head is not quite round. It's kind of got a little bit more down here than it does there. So it's kind of it's a pretty circle, but it's got a little bit of flatness to it. Then his ears go up and they are pretty big, and however they want to come down, they come down pretty far on his head right there. Scoop it in. And he generally, however he does it, there's a second line always on his ears on the inside. And it sometimes changes in the width on how it does. So there we have his head. So you got the kind of fat egg and the upside down V's with another V on the inside. And then for his body, it's just two straight little lines down. You can make his neck pretty skinny and kind of long. And then his body can either come straight down or can kind of curve out a little bit and just kind of go around and come back up like this. It's almost like a kidney shape, or like almost like a kidney bean. And then his tail can go any which way you want it to do. That's the thing about Skippy's tail. His front legs are two skinny little things with generally just a little cloud puff on the bottom of them. And they're two lines. I got that one going the wrong way. Like that. See that? There we go. And I add, just because I like to have a haunch on the back, another leg for him to be sitting on, another set of paws, kitty paw right back here. Like when I do it this way, another way has it where his body is straight on, and so you don't have that back part, but I have that extra little bit right here. Now, where his ears come down here, they come really far down his cheeks. You want your eyes to start down that far, like two little lines, kind of like that. They can be even a little closer, I think, yeah. And then you just do a half moon over, a half circle over the top of them, and inside, another half circle inside. And then Skippy has this shading on his face because he's Siamese. So it's always a shading down the center, and it goes underneath his eyes out and kind of makes this big smiley type aspect, kind of just generally like here for a little bit of shading. And then toward the bottom of that, you add his little nose. It's a little, and his little lip there, and then he gets some whiskers. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to outline his eyes. These are black in here. His nose is kind of black. Go back over my lines, and I don't worry about, this is when I met Judy, she said you don't really worry about, SkippyJon was her cat, and she remembers the day that she was trying to work on something and SkippyJon jumped up on her desk and proceeded to tell her that he wasn't a Siamese cat, that he was a Chihuahua. and tell her this whole story about himself. And so the drawing for Skippy is always kind of his tail. I forgot. And then it's just a matter of kind of shading things in how you want to, because he has blue eyes. Oops, where's my... Then I'm going to erase some of my extra lines. And he has blue eyes. And sometimes has a little bit of pink in his ears, like some kitties do. Oh, it's purple. Let's see, what do I have over there? I don't have much of anything. So I'm going to take some black here, and I'm going to blacken the outside of his ears, because his outside of his ears are pretty dark. On both sides. And they can be as skinny or as wide as you want on how shadowed or dark that is. And his little paws are generally a little, his little black mitten. And some up his tail. And then you can fuzz them out if you want a little bit. And where'd that other bit go? And then I just tend to go over this where the shadow is a little bit like this with a pen to show his kind of a whiskery face. And that's SkippyJon Jones. So you guys should be able to do that. This is one of the things, like, as I said, I would do with the kids. Because when we had characters like this that were so popular, everybody wanted to do them and to try. And to simplify it in a way that the kids could do it, there's one of the pictures from the first book is him sitting in a flower pot with things all around him, and they always like that one. Or sitting in Mrs. Doohiggy's bird bath. It's lots of fun. Oops, did I get those done? I didn't get those done, did I? There we go. And then he's just sitting around. Maybe his sock monkey is here. Got the little hat. His little sock monkey's on the ground that he has. Added his sock monkey. And if you had red, which I don't really have red, I just have this. You could do red for the spice. Lost in Spice. I didn't have red. I had this kind of pink. Maybe this is red. There we go. That's a little bit more red. Lost in Spice. There we go. A little bit of red stuff coming off his ears. Poof. Red dust flying off of his tail. Yeah. Lost in spice. There's Skippy. Did you get it? You thought it was so funny that he took his sock monkey to Mars? He loves his sock monkey. He loves his sock monkey. Now, okay. We will see if I can do Cirque du Olay. I have not, oh boy, it's been a long time since I've read Cirque du Olay. We'll see how well my, hang on, mute. Austin Spice made me sneeze. All right, back at it. So I can't draw it all, which makes me laugh when people like my paintings. Laugh with a warm feeling. Yeah, I can't draw this fast. So I'll go back. So it's a circle, an upside down V with another upside down V's inside it, straight lines, and then kind of a kidney bean shape for the body. And then the two that go down for that. You can do a kidney bean shape, or you could also do, I've seen it done with a body that he looks just like this. And he's sitting, and his tail goes, and the legs come straight down. With his eyes here, and a really, like a really straight, skinny neck. What does it do? Hold it. It goes like this. And his little nose. There, you can do that even. And then he sits like that, and that's the only part he had. That's another way to do it. And you color in the shading. So it's that kind of a rock type shape, then the neck, the little kidney bean, the upside down V's, and the squiggle tail. It's fun. All right. Cirque du Olay. Oh my goodness. Let's see. There we go. Are you guys ready? Because I am. That's fine. I'm a contemporary artist. Because drawing Skippy, Curious George, and sock monkeys. Hope you're not getting cold for your trip. No, I'm not getting a cold. I'm just, it's just that way. It's just me. The weather's changing. It's, we're getting that fall, and that's how I kind of know weather changes. It's in Eastern Washington, growing up that way, you could always tell one day to the next, like when it went from summer to fall, because the weather changed and your nose stuffed up for a day and then it was done. And that's what mine basically did. Said, oh, fall weather is here. SkippyJon Jones, Cirque du Olay. Let's see how I can do on this one, you guys. Oh, it's been a while. SkippyJon Jones was a real high wire Henry. and that made his mama as worried as a worm in a wading pool. "Oh, my fleas," wailed Mama Junebug Jones. "Come down from that wire before you break all your bones." "He can't hear you," sang his sisters, Jujubee, Jezebel, and Jillyboo, "'cause Skippy's up in Squirrely World." The girls were right. The kitty boy was performing tail-tingling tricks on the telephone wire above them. "That's amazing," gushed the girls. "He should join the circus." "Circus berserkus," groaned Mama. "I'm calling the fire department." "Fire department?" repeated Jillyboo. "Skippy's not on fire. He's on the wire." But before Junebug Jones could press a button, the kitty boy did a triple spin, backflip, dive right into Mama's apron pocket. "That was really good for a Chihuulu," said Jujubee. "The word is Chihuahua," said Mama, frazzled, "and he is not that. SkippyJon Jones is a Siamese cat." And she lugged her catch of the day back to his room for a timeout and a big talk. "What did you think you were doing up there, you with those squirrels on a wire in midair? What if you tripped and fell on your head? You'd have to spend months in a hospital bed." Then, as Junebug Jones pawed at her hives, she let the truth slip out about cats and 9 lives. "I wish we had 9, but we only have 1, so think about that, my Siamese son." Then she closed the door. Look at... The kitty boy was thinking all right about bouncing on his big boy bed. "Oh, I'm SkippyJon Jones and I don't have 9 lives, so what's the big deal? Hey, did I just see flies?" Indeed he did, and he chased one over to his mirror, where he ate it. "Holy smackito!" exclaimed the kitty boy. "Love them crunchies." And then he looked into the mirror, and using his very best Spanish accent, he said, "If I have but 1 life to live, muchacho, let me live it as a Chihuahua." See his pictures of Chihuahuas on the wall? And the little clown set on his dresser? In less time than it takes a flea to fly to Florida, SkippyJon Jones put together a fine costume while he sang in a mooey soft voice. "Oh, my name is Skippito Frisquito, and I'm a one handsome daredevilito. I'm physically fit, every part, every bit, just right for a circus pochito." In the meantime, over in the sewing nook, Mama was attempting to have a sensible conversation with the girls. "Where is Jillyboo's tutu?" asked Mama. "The Chihuulu has the tutu," exclaimed Jujubee. "Whatever for?" asked Mama. "Because Chihuulus wear tutus," said Jezebel. "And cows wear muumuus," added Jujubee. "And boo-boos wear band-aids," continued Jezebel. "And I need a nap," moaned Mama. But the Chihuulu wasn't thinking tutus, muumuus, or boo-boos. He was thinking of flying through the air with the greatest of fleas, just like the dog on a flying trapeze. Until thump! He planted his paws in a perfecto landing on the turf outside of Cirque du Olé, shouted his amigos, los chimichangos. "Hola!" hollered back Skippito Frisquito, the great acrobatito, to his barking buddies. "Hold your ponies, Papito," declared Poquito Tito, the smallest of the small ones. "Have you grown a bigoto?" "No, I did not grow a mustache, Tito," answered the gatito. "It's just part of my costume." A bigote, that's what it was. "Have you grown a bigote?" I knew I said it wrong. "No, I did not grow a mustachito," answered the gatito. "It's just part of my costume." There. Bueno, said Don Diego, the biggest of the small ones, because we need you to grow something mucho más importante. But what can be more important than a mustache, muchachos? Asked Skippito. Los musculos, said all the papitos. Not the lumpitos giganticos, declared Skippitos. Oh, sí, muchachito, said Paquito Tito, the muscles. Then Don Diego pulled an old circus poster out of his right ear and let it unroll. Now do you get it, dude? The first time in America, Tingling Brothers and Cirque du Soleil presents the tiny trembling Tower of Power. Ooh. And looks like Skippito is on the bottom with all the pochitos on top. Oh, I get it all right, said Skippito. It means I am the low dog on the totem pole. This made the Chihuahuas twist and shout. Oh yes, that's right, Skippito. Your cabeza is just what we need, though. Your muscles must grow just in time for the show, or else we will all crumble later. Then all the perritos snuck under the skirts of the big top. First, the muchachos tiptoed by the cabalista, practicing on her pony. Then they slipped past the payaso, putting his paper-popping puppy through his paces. But it wasn't until they reached the elefante that the papitos had to worry. Watch your step, amigos, warned Paquito Tito. We are but pulgas to her. We are not fleas, said Skippito. We are chihuahuas. And that wasn't all the doggies had to watch out for. They saw leones and tigres and osos, oh my. Leones and tigres and osos, oh my. But the most dangerous animal of all lay sleeping like a baby in his cage. Let's take a peek, papitos, said Skippito. Let's just take his traje, suggested Poquito Tito. Not his costume, declared Skippito, alarmed. ¿Por qué? Because it will look mucho mejor on you, señor. Then they raced like rabbits over to their dressing room. That's Putzi Strungoliput, the strongest dog, 80 pounds of mean, mad muscle with a meatball for a brain. But the circus waits for no dog. So with the speed of a spitball, the Puchitos changed their chico into the world-class circus pero con musculos. First, they gave him a vitamina. Then they pulled on his new traje. He's too big, complained the gatito. No worries, Wolf Don Diego. We will pump you up. Notice that Don Diego always has a line from a movie that will make the adults know what we're talking about. And, oh yes, like the last one was, you look marvelous. And Pump the Perros did sing. Papa, papa, lampapalito, we'll give you the muscles you need though, 'cause strong you must be for the triple TP, so don't go all boom tumbalito. Now that was the moment of truth, as they floated Skippito out from under the big top. Perros poured out from every point and piled on top of Skippito's grande cabeza. Up, up, up they climbed. Hold it, are we on? I bet if we do this, hang on. Ah, yes. Up, up, up they climbed until they formed a perfecto tower of tiny trembling chihuahuas. And beneath the tower stood the power, tough and shaky as a 5-day-old jello. But just as the pups were about to make circus history, Putzi Schuntendwolbeboot, The strong dog strutted out into the center ring and bit the behind of his very own traje. Ole! Shouted the crowd. Oh no! Cried Skippito as the tiny trembling tower of power tumbled from his head. Ta-da! Blasted La Banda as Skippito flew up into the rafters like a punctured balloon. Woohoo! Hooted the crowd as the gatito caught hold of El Trapezo. Then he flew through the air with the greatest of squeeze. Oh my goodness. And the brave little cat on the flying trapeze. But just as he reached the highest point, Skippito let go and dazzled the audience again with a double twirly-squirly twist onto the tightrope. But the tightrope acted just like a slingshot, and thwop! It sent Skippito up into the tippy top of the tent, then shoop, down. He dove cabeza first into the cotton candy kitten ball cannon, where Pootsie Strungleboot, the strong dog, was waiting to light the fuse. Drum roll, por favor, ordered Don Diego. Bota, then kaboom! El Skippito Fresquito, the great acrobatito, blasted out of the circus, out of his closet, and right out of his room. Smack-a-doodle-doo, shouted the kitty boy as he collided with his mama's head. Wow, exclaimed Jezebel. Where did he come from? He came from the circus, silly, said Jillyboo. Later that night, after a piece of maple mouse pie, the kitty boy made up a rhyme just for his mama and delivered it with the most sincere bounce. Oh, I'm SkippyJon Jones, but you're the bee's knees, 'cause your cookin' is smokin'. Hey, did I just see fleas? Asked Mama, beginning to scratch. Circus fleas, replied the kitty boy proudly. Circus berserkus, muttered Mama. Get your collars out now, kittens. It's going to be an itchy night. And that's the end of Cirque de Olay with SkippyJon. Oh my goodness. There. Whoops, how did that get that? That's not supposed to be there. That's supposed to be... We're done drawing. There we go. Just returned from visiting with the other side of the family. Oh, I take it that mess laughing your butt off. Okay, cool. So flying won't hurt your ears. Oh, I'm not stuffed really. It just every once in a while, it's probably from drinking my Stella cider. I think I've seen him crochet on a bottle with a light bulb head. Figure it out. I'm going to show my grandkids how to draw this as soon as I can figure it out. Oh, they'll love that, Julia. I'm sure they probably know who SkippyJon is. SkippyJon is like infamous amongst schools. There's so many different ones. There's a book that he did where it's called Snow What. I'll wait till later on when there's snow. Because that snowsuit that he wears to Mars comes back into play for Snow What. And SkippyJon and the Big Bones, where he goes on a dinosaur hunt. Then his first day at school. Yeah, it's wonderful. And then she has some other ones that are like, she has a book called The Granny Man, which is about an old cat that she had that was SkippyJon's like grandmother. And then another story about one that grew up. It's just wonderful books. Wonderful, wonderful books that she does. I love it. But, okay, you guys. That's about it for me, because I'm going to turn off the computer after this, unplug things, put it in my camera bag, unpack my microphone, wrap it up to go, get all my final stuff packed and away, because in 22 hours I'll be in the air. Yeah. I have to be at SeaTac 3 to 3.5 hours ahead of my flight for this kind of flight. So that's kind of thing I gotta do. But a worm in a wading pool. Squirrel. Welcome back, Christine. I love with SkippyJon Jones. Me too. I'm glad you guys like SkippyJon. I thought it was a great send-off for the trip. Lost in Spice, Cirque du Soleil, all that kind of crazy things. They had the elephants, you know, leones y tigres y osos. Yeah, lions and tigers and bears. Leones, tigres y osos. Oh my. Leones, tigres y osos. Oh my. I'm not going to see bears down there. I'm not going to see tigers, because tigers are not in Africa. They are in India. But I'm going to see lions for sure. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for putting up with me for these past few weeks while I've been getting super excited and for all of this. And don't forget, I'm still coming in for you every night. There will be a premiere for you set. So you guys can still chit and chat with each other, say hi, check in, keep each other in line. And Gail, Larry, watch out, you know. Linda, make sure you fact check. Gail, keep them in line. Larry, be your wonderful Larry wizard self. And everybody else, and Helen and Julia and Christine, welcome, and all that stuff. And Tamara, oh my gosh, you guys. Keep the fires going and the story circle, keep the circle all going and filling each other's bucket every day, because I think we kind of, it just helps me so much. And so I had a good time putting together all the stories for you. And the premieres will be shorter. They're only like 15, some of them 15, 20, 25 minutes, because sometimes it was just one story, sometimes two, but didn't have all the other chit chat in between. But they're there. So those will take you up through the 17th. On the 18th, I will most likely go live from the Eric Carle Children's Book Museum in Amherst, Massachusetts. Yes, I'm going to be there. I'm going up there on the 18th. So, yes. I don't know what time of day, because I think they're only open till 5, but I know I'll probably go live from there. So kind of keep your notifications on to see when I do that. Because I don't know if I'll be able to read a story to you from there, but I'll take you through the only children's book illustrated only museum in the United States for children's literature, for children's books. There are multiple of these in other countries all around. This is where Eric Carle, why he got the idea from seeing it in other countries, and he came back, the very hungry caterpillar, Eric Carle, and said, we need to have that here. And he built this and opened it, and it has just I've seen pictures, I've seen the walkthroughs of it, just incredible rooms. Plus it has an art center in it. And when you go, kids can go in, and actually there's artists there that are taking kids through how to do this kind of stuff and make different kind of things. And they have artists that will come in and teach lessons, and they have lectures. So I'll take you there. And we'll see how it goes from there, and I'll let you know. But until then, keep each other company on the premieres, and I will post pictures when I can and send them, and whether they are on my Facebook or Instagram, or whether I can do a little who knows if I can post a short. We'll see what it is once I get there, but I for sure will have a lot to share when I get back. But until next time, you guys, as always, keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. It's all around. It's in this group. It lives just shining in this group. It's not even hidden in this group. But go share it and look for more. And I'll see you next time.
In the heat of the night, we could get lost in all the lights and sounds. Feel alright, we won't go home, we will just stay here downtown.
I'll miss you guys too.
There's not just us,
I will. I am going to be 12 hours plus a day ahead of you, I believe.
I just need you by.
So like 6:30 at night is
We could be shameless,
the next day in the morning, something like that.
cool, with the love that leaves us weightless.
Botswana time.
Gorgeous, wow.
Hey Siri, what time is it in Botswana right now?
In Gaborone, Botswana, it's 4:32 a.m.
Right now,
You blow my mind, looking like a model, better than usual. Yeah, you don't even try. Now average or typical, I put you on a pedestal. There's not just stars on the boulevard. They're in the light in your eyes. Oh, we don't need no black cards. I just need you by my side. We could be shameless, famous, running cool, with a love that leaves us weightless. Ooh, drop that gold.